You ever have one of those moments that rewrites your entire world in less than a minute? Yeah, mine started with a sound that didn't belong. It was just after Sunrise Lake, smooth as glass. And then out of nowhere, there's this awful screech of metal, a heavy thud, and a hollow splash that didn't match the rhythm of the morning at all. Like the universe dropped a warning right at my feet. Let me tell you, I knew trouble was coming, but I never figured it'd show up dressed in pink with a straw hat barking HOA bylaws like she was Moses on the mountain. From my porch, I watched Karen, the president herself, ordering two guys in an orange truck to haul my son Eli's old army trunks out like yesterday's garbage. I mean, you should have seen her waving that HOA rule book, yelling about neighborhood aesthetics, as if Eli's name stenciled big as life on those trunks was a crime. Those boxes weren't just storage. They were a whole lifetime flag from his first deployment letters from the desert boot still caked in red dirt from some far-off place. She didn't see that. All she saw was clutter. They didn't hesitate. One by one, those trunks hit the dock and then the water, Karen laughing like she'd just saved the neighborhood. Rules are rules, Frank. This is private property, not a memorial. She called out, chin-lifted voice sharp enough to draw blood. I didn't shout. I didn't storm down there. I just stood, phone in hand, recording, and I told myself she has no idea what she started. 'Cause see, it's never just about stuff. Not when it's your kid's life packed into boxes. Not when you promised him you'd keep them safe while he kept the rest of us safe half a world away. And now, there I was watching Pride Service memories all sinking slow and sure, while a woman with too much time and not enough heart called it unsightly. That night I called Gary, retired Navy diver, the kind of friend who never asks why, just says when. Midnight found us at the dock with headlamps and coffee, taking turns diving in water cold enough to make your bones ache. First trunk we hauled up together. Inside, Eli's flag soaked but holding together, and a photo of him, younger grin crooked. Gary didn't say a word. Next trip down brought up letters, metals, the small stuff that's actually the big stuff. One trunk sank too deep, but we marked the spot. We'd get it later. The next day, Karen's back, marching up and down the shoreline, clipboard in hand, checking distances between docks like she's up for re-election. When she spots me dragging Eli's trunks up the ramp, muddy dripping, she calls out, "You're still violating Code Section 4B, Frank." That dock is not a storage site. I didn't give her the satisfaction of a response. Just walked water puddling behind me, letting her words float away. Later that afternoon, I get a letter, $3,000 fine for illegal dock storage and compromising the view. She had no clue I was stacking up every move she made, letters, video, even her voice, all lined up in a neat little folder. Then I made one more call. Eli's commanding officer. "You ever hear of an HOA dumping a soldier's gear in a lake?" I asked. He was quiet for a long minute. "Not yet," he said, "but I bet we're about to." And that's when I realized this wasn't just my fight. I sent the video to every news outlet I could think of, then sat back as the sun went down, wondering if the lake even remembered what peace looked like or if it had just become another stage for petty tyranny. And sure enough, by morning, the emails started coming. Reporters, veteran groups. Even the neighbor kids started whispering about Lake Karen and peeking through the blinds to see if I'd strike back. I waited. Patience is a funny kind of weapon. Karen strutted around, acting like I'd just roll over and pay. She didn't know that every rule she'd ever used as a weapon was about to boomerang. Within days, the neighborhood was buzzing. People watching from balconies. More cameras. More phones. Someone edited the video, slow-motion, dramatic music, Karen front and center ordering the purge. Suddenly she was famous. And not the kind of famous you want. My phone was blowing up. "Is that really your son's flag? Did she really say that?" And I just kept saying, "Watch the video. Don't take my word for it." The real twist. Someone on the board, turns out the treasurer, emailed me late one night. She's been using HOA funds for her yard. He wrote attaching receipts with her signature on landscaping, cleaning, and community events that looked suspiciously like private dinners. Now, it wasn't just disrespect. It was fraud. Word spread, news vans parked at the clubhouse. A closed-door emergency meeting, Karen hustling inside, looking less like a president and more like a defendant. She tried to blame context, tried to say I'd edited everything, but you can't edit the sound of your own arrogance echoing across a lake. The board voted suspended pending investigation. Some clapped. Others just looked relieved, like a storm had finally moved out. Karen tried to regain control, more notices, more rules, blaming angry internet mobs. But it was too late. She was drowning in the very rules she'd weaponized. Neighbors who'd once rolled their eyes at her now posted her letters online, laughing, sharing stories. One lady wrote, "She fined me for wind chimes. Now she's the one rattling in the breeze." Memes went viral. Lake Karen was trending. But let me tell you, none of that compared to pulling up that last trunk with Gary, finding Eli's journals still dry inside a waterproof bag, his handwriting steady as always. "Tell Karen to chill out," he'd written back when drama was just about fences, not flags. I laughed. The bitterness gone, replaced by a weird, poetic sense of justice. You know what I mean? By the time the financial investigation hit the news, 30 grand in community funds missing, catered parties billed as HOA events. Personal cleaners for her marble walkway, Karen was no longer the face of order. She was a cautionary tale. The sheriff showed up, took her HOA SUV away in broad daylight. Linda, the new interim president, knocked on my door with a formal apology and a promise. "We should have stood up sooner, Frank. You reminded us what leadership should look like." After that, the air changed. The lake felt lighter. People started waving again, smiling, sharing stories in the aisles at the grocery store. Kids organized a fishing contest. No permissions, no measurements, just laughter echoing over the water. The new sign on the dock read, "Veterans Memorial Dock, property of the people, not a rule book in sight." Eli finally came home, taller, tired, but smiling easy. He saw the dock, the sign, the trunk with his journals inside. "Guess the lake fought back for us," he said. And yeah, that hit me right where it counts. We threw a little party, nothing big, just neighbors, music, flags along the shore. Even folks who'd once sided with Karen showed up, plates in hand, awkward smiles. That night, as the sun dropped and sparklers lit up the dock, I looked around and thought, maybe this is how justice looks. Not loud, not angry, just patient, steady, like water smoothing out after a storm. I never saw Karen again after that. Someone said she moved north, maybe started over. Maybe not, doesn't matter. She learned her lesson, or at least she learned to leave us alone. The real win. It wasn't about getting her fired or seeing her name in the paper. It was about peace, about a community remembering it could breathe again, about a father handing his son back the pieces of a life that nearly drowned only to find them shining brighter for having survived. So let me ask you, where do you draw the line between rules and respect, between order and dignity? Would you have stood quiet or raised your voice? I'd love to hear your story. Drop your city, your thoughts, your own battles with petty power in the comments below. And if this hit you somewhere deep, maybe hit subscribe so we keep reminding each other what real community means.